They will test you not with swords, but with words, not with chains, but with emotions. The world does not destroy you with weapons. It destroys you with the chaos of your own reactions. And that, my friend, is why most men fail before they ever begin. They think strength is shown by force, by noise, by rage. But true power is silent, composed, and frighteningly patient. The man who masters his emotions does not just control himself, he controls outcomes. He bends reality not through impulse, but through strategy. In every court I observed, from Florence to Rome, it was never the loud man who won. It was the calm one. The one whose enemies screamed while he remained still. Because stillness is not weakness. It is calculation. The moment you react, you reveal your weakness. The moment you stay composed, you become unpredictable. And unpredictability is the language of power. Have you ever wondered why those who wrong you seem to control the narrative? It's because your emotions hand them the pen. You give them the right to define your story when you respond with anger, pride, or pain. But imagine if you learned to look at betrayal, insult, and loss with indifference, not apathy, but cold awareness. That is where dominance begins. It is not about being emotionless. It is about owning your emotions so completely that no one else can touch them. The man who can look at chaos and feel nothing but clarity is untouchable. And that is the state you must reach. Because when the world learns that your emotions cannot be manipulated, it loses all leverage over you. I've seen kings lose kingdoms because of anger. I've seen generals destroy armies because of pride. And I have seen merchants lose fortunes because of fear. Emotion has ruined more empires than war ever did. If you wish to rise, you must first master the empire within yourself. Let others shout, cry, and rage. You stay still, observe, calculate. Because when emotion clouds judgment, strategy dies. The weak man reacts. The strong man decides. Every insult you receive is a test of your internal government. Will you let a single word overthrow your kingdom of thought? Or will you hold your ground like a fortress built on reason? The answer to that question determines your destiny. So I ask you, are you ruled by your emotions, or do your emotions serve you? The crowd lives in reaction. The ruler lives in restraint. The crowd burns in anger. The ruler uses anger as fuel for precision. The crowd fears pain. The ruler studies it. Because pain reveals truth, not about the world, but about yourself. The moment something angers you, it shows you where you are weak. The moment something scares you, it shows you where you are unprepared. The moment something hurts you, it shows you what still controls you. So do not run from emotion. Dissect it, study it, then master it. The man who fears emotion will always be controlled by it. But the man who embraces emotion, strips it bare, and learns from it, he becomes a strategist of the mind. Emotional control is not suppression. It is transformation. It is taking the energy of chaos and turning it into focus. It is looking at betrayal and thinking, good, you've revealed yourself. It is looking at pain and saying, excellent, now I know where I must grow. It is looking at loss and whispering, now I understand what truly matters. That is how power is born, in silence, in patience, in the ability to stand when others collapse. The crowd will never understand you. They will call you cold, detached, arrogant. Let them. Their noise is proof of their weakness. Your silence is proof of your command. Every empire is built twice, first in the mind, then in the world. And the mind cannot build if it is enslaved by emotion. Do you know what separates a ruler from a common man? It's not money. It's not status. It's composure. When chaos arrives, the ruler breathes slower. He sees what others cannot. He decides when others panic. That moment of calm, that pause between reaction and decision, is where destiny is written. The man who learns to pause wins. Because the pause is where power lives. You do not need to be faster, louder, or stronger than your enemies. You only need to be calmer. Because calmness allows precision, and precision wins wars. Your emotions will tempt you to act before thinking, to speak before calculating, to fight before observing. Resist. There is no victory in noise. There is only exhaustion. The loudest man in the room is always the weakest. He reveals his fears by his words. The quiet one hides his intentions, studies his environment, and strikes when advantage is guaranteed. That is Machiavellian mastery, not cruelty but control. Not manipulation of others first, but mastery of yourself. You want to command. Begin by commanding your own impulses. You want to influence others? Begin by influencing your own emotions. For you cannot rule men until you rule your mind. And the battlefield of the mind is fought in silence. Your enemies do not always wear armor. Sometimes they wear your face, whispering fear and doubt into your thoughts. That is why emotional control is your greatest weapon. It is the blade you sharpen daily through patience, reflection, and deliberate restraint. Do not give anyone the satisfaction of seeing you unstable. Your calm must terrify them. Your silence must confuse them. Your patience must exhaust them. Because when they realize they cannot move you, they will kneel before you. Power does not come from dominance over others. It comes from indifference to their chaos. When you stop reacting, you start ruling. And the world bows not to the loud, but to the composed. So when they provoke you, smile. When they insult you, listen. When they betray you, observe. Because every reaction you control adds another brick to your empire. And one day they will look up and wonder how you built such strength, never realizing it was their attacks that built your walls. You must understand, composure is not natural. It is forged. Every trial, every disappointment, every betrayal is a blacksmith shaping your calm. Each moment of restraint adds steel to your will. The man who breaks easily was never strong. He was untested. True power is proven only through pressure. And that is why I say, be grateful for the chaos. It is the crucible that refines your control. Without it, you would never learn how powerful you can be. Remember, the world does not reward emotion. It rewards results. And results belong to those who think clearly when others lose their minds. So train yourself to feel without reacting, to sense without showing, to decide without hesitation. And when you master that, the world will no longer dictate how you feel. You will dictate how the world moves around you. They will wonder why nothing disturbs you. They will test you again and again, trying to find the edge where you break. Do not give them that satisfaction. Let them drown in their own confusion as your calmness grows stronger. Because every storm you endure in silence teaches the world to respect your restraint. That is what true intimidation looks like. Not noise, not violence, but composure so absolute it unsettles everyone around you. It makes them question your thoughts, your plans, your intentions. That is the essence of psychological warfare, to remain so still that your enemies lose themselves in guessing your next move. The greatest generals do not shout. They whisper to themselves, and the world trembles in anticipation. The greatest rulers do not react. They observe, and the world adjusts to their silence. I have seen men waste entire lives chasing control over others while never learning control over themselves. They ruled kingdoms, but were slaves to their anger. They commanded armies, but were destroyed by their own insecurity. You will not be that man. You will rise above that chaos and turn stillness into strategy. Because once your emotions obey you, everything else will. It begins with awareness. The awareness that your emotions are tools, not truths. They are signals, not commands. The weak interpret every feeling as instruction. The strong interpret it as information. When anger rises, it is not telling you to strike. It is showing you what matters to you. When fear whispers, it is not ordering retreat. It is exposing what you must prepare for. When sadness speaks, it is not demanding pity. It is revealing where your attachments lie. To master emotional control, you must become a scientist of your own mind. Observe every reaction as data. Study yourself as if you were your greatest enemy, because in truth you are. There is no greater enemy than your own untrained emotion. It will betray you faster than any opponent. It will expose your weaknesses in moments when composure is your only weapon. And it will destroy your strategy in seconds if you do not rule it with precision. You must train yourself daily to remain calm under tension, deliberate under insult, decisive under pressure. That is what separates the strategist from the fool. The fool responds to stimulus. The strategist controls stimulus by choosing his response. This is the art of power, and those who learn it rise above the human storm that consumes ordinary men. Imagine standing in the middle of chaos, men shouting, plans collapsing, fear spreading, and you do not move. You breathe once. You think clearly. You choose the smallest action that shifts everything. That is mastery. That is power. The man who controls himself controls the battlefield. Every decision he makes carries weight because it comes from clarity, not emotion. When he speaks, others listen, not because he is loud, but because his words are chosen with precision. You cannot fake that presence. It is earned through suffering, reflection, and discipline, through moments where everything inside you begged to react, and you refused. Every time you resist the urge to react, your strength compounds. Every moment you stay calm when others panic, your influence grows. Because people instinctively follow composure. It feels safe. It feels certain. And power, my friend, is built on the perception of certainty. You become a pillar in a world of storms. And when the world sees that you do not shake, they will come to you for direction. That is how leadership begins. Not by shouting, not by demanding, but by being the one who remains unshaken. You will find that emotional control is contagious. Your calmness will infect the room. Your stillness will spread confidence. And your presence will silence chaos without a single word. But remember, control does not mean suppression. You must not bury emotion beneath pretense. That will poison you. Instead, learn to process emotion through discipline. Anger becomes drive, fear becomes awareness. Pain becomes wisdom. Transformation, not denial. That is the path of true mastery. And when you live this way, you stop being a slave to circumstance. Nothing external dictates your internal state anymore. You begin to shape your own reality. That is why I say emotional control is your greatest weapon, because it frees you from the tyranny of reaction. When others lose their temper, they become predictable. When you remain calm, you become dangerous. They cannot anticipate you. They cannot provoke you. They cannot manipulate you. You become an enigma, wrapped in discipline, and the world bows to that mystery. Men who cannot control themselves will call you heartless. Let them. They cannot understand restraint because they have never tasted power. You will be accused of arrogance, of being cold, of being detached. Accept it, for it is the price of sovereignty. And sovereignty is the only goal worth chasing. To own yourself fully, your thoughts, your emotions, your actions, that is the highest form of dominance. The weak think control is domination over others. The wise know it is domination over self. When you reach that level, you no longer seek revenge. You no longer crave validation. You no longer fear loss, because you have already conquered the hardest battle, the one within. And once you win that battle, no force on earth can defeat you. You will walk through betrayal without bleeding. You will endure failure without breaking. You will stand in fire and remain composed. That is the kind of strength that terrifies the world. They cannot understand how a man can remain calm while everything burns around him. But you will know, because while they panic, you plan. While they despair, you adapt. While they react, you rule. That is the Machiavellian truth. The calm man commands, the emotional man obeys. And so you must decide, will you rule yourself, or will you remain ruled by the impulses that destroy most men before they ever build an empire? Ask yourself that now. What truly controls you, your will or your reactions? Because that answer determines everything you will ever achieve. They will never tell you this truth openly because the world profits from your emotional weakness. The system thrives when you react without thinking, when your anger becomes their entertainment, when your fear becomes their profit. Every advertisement, every politician, every manipulator understands this law. The easiest man to control is the one who cannot control himself. They know your triggers better than you do. They know what makes you jealous, what makes you insecure, what makes you feel inferior, and they weaponize it. They show you images designed to provoke envy, messages meant to stir anxiety, stories built to ignite outrage. Why? Because when you are emotional, you are not strategic. You are distracted, reactive, impulsive, and impulsive people are easy to rule. That is why I urge you to study your own emotions with the same intensity that tyrants study their enemies. Because the one who understands his emotional triggers can never be manipulated again. You must know what makes you angry and why. You must know what makes you insecure and how to disarm it. You must know what gives you fear and how to dissolve it. This is self-intelligence, the highest form of warfare. In my time, kings fought for land. Today, men fight for attention. And attention is won by those who control emotional response. You do not win by being louder. You win by being less reactive. The man who is unmoved becomes the center of gravity in every room. He draws others toward him without chasing them. That is magnetism born from control. You have seen it. The leader who speaks little but commands respect. The figure who walks into a room and shifts the atmosphere without effort. That presence is not magic. It is the product of relentless emotional discipline. You cannot fake it, you can only earn it. By confronting your emotions, by sitting with your discomfort, by training yourself to remain still when your mind screams to react. That is the battlefield. That is where empires of character are forged. Your reactions are your soldiers. Either they obey you or they betray you. So build an army within your mind that answers only to you. When anger attacks, you command patience. When fear advances, you call on courage. When doubt infiltrates, you respond with evidence. This is how you rule your inner kingdom. And once you rule within, no power outside can shake you. You will walk differently. You will speak differently. Your words will carry the weight of conviction, not the tremor of emotion. Even your silence will feel like dominance. And that is when people begin to notice, not because you seek attention, but because power always reveals itself through composure. Understand this, the calm man always wins, because calmness is clarity and clarity is strategy. When you are calm, you see every player on the board. You see who acts out of fear, who hides insecurity behind confidence, who speaks loudly to cover weakness. And you use that knowledge to move with precision. That is how empires are built, not by reacting to every insult, but by directing energy only toward victory. You must become ruthless with your focus. Every time you feel anger rising, ask, does this serve my purpose? Every time fear appears, ask, what truth is it trying to hide? Every time pride tempts you, ask, am I acting from power or from insecurity? That level of awareness will make you dangerous. Because now you no longer act from emotion. You act from intention. And intention is the highest form of control. Most men live like puppets, pulled by invisible strings of emotion they never question. But once you cut those strings, you become the puppet master of your own fate. That is what I want for you. Not peace without, but control within. Because peace without control is fragile. But control within yourself creates unshakable peace. The crowd will call you emotionless, but what they see as emptiness is actually depth. They cannot understand still waters because their minds are oceans of storms. Your calmness will look unnatural to those who have never met themselves. But that is not your concern. You are not here to be understood. You are here to be effective. You are not here to please. You are here to prevail. Remember this, power belongs to those who can wait. Every empire that fell did so because someone could not wait. They reacted too soon. They revealed too much. They allowed emotion to rush them into ruin. Do not make that mistake. Let others exhaust themselves in haste while you gather strength in patience. For patience, when combined with purpose, becomes a weapon sharper than any sword. You will know when to act, and when you do, it will be devastating. Because the strike of a calm man is precise. He has studied his enemy. He has waited for the perfect moment. And when he moves, he does not miss. That is the power of emotional control. It turns you from a wanderer into a weapon, from a victim into a strategist, from a man reacting to life into a man directing it. And make no mistake, life will test this mastery daily. You will face people who insult you just to see if you will break character. You will face betrayal from those you trusted most. You will face moments where silence feels unbearable. But hold your ground, because every test is designed to measure your strength, not to destroy you. If you pass these trials, you will emerge untouchable. They will see a man who cannot be provoked, a mind that cannot be shaken, a soul that cannot be manipulated. That is what terrifies mediocrity. They cannot control what they cannot understand, and they will never understand your calmness, because it is the reflection of your power. The stronger you become, the quieter you grow, because you no longer need to prove anything. You no longer need to explain your worth. You no longer need to react to noise. Your silence becomes your signature. Your restraint becomes your reputation, and your control becomes your crown. There will come a moment when you realize that the world itself is a stage built to provoke you. Every interaction, every insult, every temptation is a test of your composure. The fool believes these moments are random. The wise see them as deliberate trials meant to expose weakness. Each time you remain calm under attack, you are refining your weapon. Each time you resist the urge to defend your ego, you're sharpening your strategy. And each time you turn silence into strength, you are ascending above those who live trapped in their reactions. The greatest form of warfare is not physical, it is psychological. And emotional control is its foundation. When you understand this, you no longer compete with others. You outlast them. You no longer seek to win arguments. You win outcomes. Because arguments are emotional, but outcomes are strategic. You will see people driven by impulse rush into conflicts that destroy them, while you remain detached, guiding the chaos toward your purpose. That is how power operates. It does not fight the storm, it redirects it. So when emotion rises within you, ask yourself, how can I use this energy to build, not to break? That question will separate you from the masses forever. Because most people burn energy reacting to small things, while the wise conserve energy for decisive action. Power is conservation, control is focus, and both are born from emotional discipline. You will begin to notice that once you master emotion, time itself bends to your will. You will no longer feel rushed, no longer desperate, no longer distracted by trivial things. Your priorities will sharpen. Your actions will slow down, but carry more impact. Every word you speak will feel deliberate. Every silence will carry weight. People will sense your presence before you even speak. They will not know why, but they will feel it. It is because control emits energy, an invisible force that commands attention without demand. And this energy will draw opportunity toward you, not because you chase it, but because you embody readiness. This is the ultimate paradox of power. When you stop chasing, you start attracting. When you stop proving, you start commanding. When you stop reacting, you start ruling. You become like gravity, silent, constant, unavoidable, and the world begins to orbit around your stillness. That is the moment you will know that emotional control is not just a skill, it is evolution. You will look back on your past and see how often emotion blinded you. How many opportunities you lost because pride made you react? How many relationships burned because anger spoke before wisdom? How many dreams faded because fear silenced your courage? But you will not regret it, because you will understand that those mistakes were your teachers. You needed to lose control to understand the value of control. You needed to feel chaos to appreciate silence. Every storm you survived was preparing you to become your own ruler. Now you see it clearly. The world does not reward emotion, it rewards mastery. And mastery begins where reaction ends. So from this day forward, train your emotions as a general trains his army. Drill them daily through self-reflection, through observation, through silence. Test them in the smallest battles so they are ready for the great ones. Because life will not warn you before testing you. It will send storms disguised as opportunities, betrayals disguised as lessons, failures disguised as guidance. You must stay awake. You must stay calm. Because while others see tragedy, you will see strategy. While others feel pain, you will extract wisdom. While others crumble, you will adapt. That is how the Machiavellian mind survives centuries, by transforming every emotion into an instrument of power. And if you hold to this path, you will no longer live as a slave to impulse. You will live as a sovereign being, unshaken by praise or criticism, unmoved by chaos or calm, untouchable in every realm of thought. This is where the game changes. Because once you no longer react to the world begins reacting to you. You will watch as people adjust their tone in your presence, as rooms grow quieter when you enter, as opportunities seem to find you effortlessly. It will not be magic. It will be the reflection of your internal empire. Everything external mirrors the state of your inner command. And when that command is absolute, the world cannot help but bow. So guard your emotional fortress as you would guard your crown. Do not open its gates for every distraction, every insult, every temptation that knocks. Be selective with what deserves your reaction, for every reaction costs energy, and energy is the currency of power. Spend it wisely. Every moment you remain composed, you are investing in dominance. Every time you respond with clarity instead of chaos, you are expanding your kingdom. And every time you choose silence over rage, patience over pride, discipline over doubt, you are becoming something rare. A man who cannot be controlled by the world because he controls himself. The masses will never understand this kind of strength. They will chase noise while you cultivate stillness. They will demand attention while you demand results. They will trade their peace for validation while you build power in solitude. Let them. You are not here to follow the crowd. You are here to rise above it. And the higher you rise, the quieter it becomes. Because true strength does not announce itself. It radiates. It moves like shadow and strikes like thunder. The one who holds his emotions holds his future. The one who conquers his mind conquers the world. And so I tell you, emotional control is not merely your weapon. It is your kingdom, your armor, your legacy. It is the invisible force that makes kings out of ordinary men. When you master it, you will no longer seek to dominate others. You will have no need to, because the man who rules himself has already won the greatest war. Every man you meet, every situation you encounter, every unexpected turn of fate is a trial, and only the disciplined will survive unscathed. You must understand this truth clearly. Power is not seized in moments of impulse. It's cultivated in the quiet dominion over oneself. Those who yield to anger, desire, or fear give the world control over them. Those who restrain, observe, and calculate take control of everything. Your silence becomes a weapon, your patience a trap, your calm a fortress no one can penetrate. Every insult thrown at you is a mirror, revealing the weakness of others and the strength you have forged within. Every betrayal is a lesson disguised as pain, a chance to refine foresight, sharpen resolve, and perfect strategy. The undisciplined will not see this. They are blind to the patterns, enslaved by their impulses, and defeated by circumstance. But you will see. You will recognize the opportunities hidden in every chaos, the advantages concealed in every challenge, the paths to supremacy within every storm. Your control is not passive. It is active, deliberate, and relentless. You will allow no distraction, no manipulation, no emotional provocation to dictate your decisions. Every thought is measured. Every action is intentional. Every silence carries weight. The weak may misinterpret this as coldness or detachment, but it is mastery, inevitability, and dominance. The moment to strike comes only when every factor aligns, when every vulnerability has been revealed, when victory is guaranteed. And when you strike, it will be devastating, precise, and absolute, leaving no room for error, no path for retaliation, no escape from consequence. The man who masters emotion can dictate the flow of events, bend outcomes to his will, and make the impossible inevitable. The world is filled with men who react blindly, act impulsively, and reveal their weaknesses with every breath. They are tools to be observed, lessons to be learned, and obstacles to be overcome with strategy and discipline. Do not pity them, do not fear them, do not envy them, use them. Every conflict becomes a rehearsal, every provocation a lesson, every betrayal a guide to the truth of men and circumstances. Emotional control is not a shield to hide behind. It is a weapon to wield with precision. The undisciplined will miscalculate, stumble, and destroy themselves, while you move unseen, unheard, and unchallenged until the decisive moment. You will become the unseen force that shapes outcomes, the invisible hand that directs events, the silent presence that commands attention without demand. Your mind will be a fortress impervious to manipulation, a palace of clarity, a command center from which every move is deliberate, calculated, and decisive. Nothing will distract you. Nothing will tempt you. Nothing will provoke you into weakness. The one who masters himself controls the moment. The one who controls the moment controls outcomes. The one who controls outcomes controls the world. And all of this begins with the ruthless governance of emotion. Do not be deceived into thinking mastery is comfort. It is rigor. It is constant vigilance, relentless observation, and tireless refinement. Every day, test yourself. Every day, challenge your impulses. Every day, convert reaction into strategy, desire into fuel, fear into preparation, and doubt into clarity. This is the path of the master, the ruler, the Machiavellian strategist. When you have perfected it, you will see the world differently. You will move through it with inevitability, influence, and authority. The chaos of men will no longer ensnare you. It will serve you. The fury of circumstance will no longer challenge you. It will highlight your supremacy. The deception of others will no longer distract you. It will reveal the steps necessary to victory. This is the ultimate truth of power. Those who control themselves control everything else. Your calm becomes the measure of all things. Your silence, the judge of every interaction. Your discipline, the architect of destiny. No man can compel you, no storm can move you, no situation can destabilize you. You are the master of your inner kingdom, and in that mastery lies dominion over all external forces. Those who attempt to manipulate you, provoke you, or challenge you will fail, because you are immovable, unreadable, unstoppable. Your actions will be decisive, your timing flawless, your strategy unmatched. And the world will bend in subtle ways to accommodate the inevitability of your dominance. Power is silent until executed. Influence is invisible until demanded. Control is internal before it manifests externally. And once internal mastery is achieved, external mastery follows inevitably. The man who governs his emotions does not merely survive the storms of life. He redirects them, bends them, and turns them into instruments of his will. He does not compete with men who act impulsively. He outlasts them. He does not react to chaos. He orchestrates it. He does not fear betrayal. He exploits it. This is the apex of emotional mastery, the ultimate expression of Machiavellian wisdom, the final step in becoming unstoppable. Every skill you have honed, every lesson you have learned, every restraint you have practiced, culminates in this singular power, absolute, precise, and untouchable control over yourself. And in this control lies the supremacy of your mind, the inevitability of your actions, and the dominance of your presence. Those who could not master themselves fall. Those who could are remembered, and those who master emotional control shape history itself. So forge your mind like steel, sharpen your will like a blade, and command your emotions like the most lethal weapon in existence. Because in the end, the one who masters himself is not merely strong. He is unstoppable, unassailable, and eternal in influence. Emotional control is not optional. It is the sword, the shield, the crown, and the throne. It is the invisible power that makes ordinary men extraordinary, weak men formidable, and disciplined men unstoppable. And when you achieve this mastery, the world will respond, not because it must, but because it cannot do otherwise. You will be inevitable. You will be dominant. You will be sovereign. And nothing, no man, no circumstance, no chaos can ever take it from you.